What's up, guys? Welcome to Whiskey. My name is Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. That sounds interesting? Hit subscribe down below. And with that out of the way, let's jump into our review. Today we're looking at the Loch Lomond 12-year-old. Stick around. So it's a Loch Lomond today. This one is not a popular whiskey. I think it's relatively popular within the viewers of this channel, but largely speaking, not a lot of people go for Loch Lomond. This one was recommended to me by you guys several times over, in fact. And honestly speaking, I don't think I would have picked this bottle up if you guys hadn't put it on my radar. So I do listen to you guys. But yeah, people don't usually make much fuss about Loch Lomond Distillery. Now, it is a very versatile distillery. They have a bunch of different brands that use a lot of different production styles, so they're kind of all over the place. Master of Malt says their bottlings include Inchmurrin, Inchmoan, Inchfad, Crotinga, Glen Douglas, Craig Lodge, and Loch Lomond, each with varying peat levels. The name Loch Lomond is used for single malt releases, though it is also used for a blended scotch produced on site using both grain and malt whiskey. So they make a lot of stuff. And this is actually the first OB or official bottling I've had from the Loch Lomond brand itself. I did have a bottle of Inchmurrin 18-year-old. I didn't like it, but yeah, I almost have no experience at all with this distillery. Like, I'm sure I could count on one hand the number of times I've even sampled their stuff. Anyway, our 12-year-old here is matured in bourbon casks, refill casks, and recharred casks. Refills of what, recharrs of what, I don't know, but we can assume there's going to be a nice touch of oak in this. The reviews for this are pretty mixed. Like, some people actually really do like it, but others score it really, really low. Like, if you go on Whiskey Base, you'll see a lot of scores for this in the 70s. So it's definitely one that has people divided. Which means it's probably going to be an interesting whiskey, but it might not be an easy ride. I know you guys, I know my viewers, you guys always recommend interesting whiskeys. Some have been fantastic, others, of course, I have liked less, but you guys have never pushed me towards anything that's dull or boring. So if enough of you guys chime in and tell me that something's going to be interesting, I know it will be. Of course, interesting is one thing. Whether or not I actually like it is something completely different. So let's find out about this one. Let's jump into our review, see what the whiskey's all about. And in the meantime, if you could kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. So we almost made it with this one. We've got 46%. We've got non-chill filtered. Sadly, this is a colored whiskey. So 2 out of 3. So we've got our fake tan color here. I think the label is okay, but the bottle design doesn't really work for me. I'm not a fan of Loch Lomond bottles. You know, even as a seasoned consumer, the look of a bottle does kind of affect my urge to buy it. So if I saw this in the shop and I knew nothing about it, I definitely wouldn't be inclined to pick it up. I don't love the stag design. Just the overall look doesn't really work for me. So presentation score here, 1.5 out of 5. We've got non-chill filtered on the back. We've got mid-farb stuff, so it's telling us we've got caramel colorant. So actually, all of the specs are stated on the label. They're just not all the specs that we want. We've also got some tasting notes on the back, as well as the cask information. So actually, the information on this bottle is okay. I just don't like the look. Let's try our nose. So dirty. Okay. Leather polish, wet oak. There's like a bitter herbal element to this. There's some indistinct fruitiness. There's some caramelized brown sugar. There's pencil shavings in here, pencil lead. There's some blueberries and a little bit of cardboard in here. It's a weird nose. I don't love it. And now our palate. Oily. Mouth coating. It's a full whiskey for sure. It's a very gently peated whiskey, but we do get a hint of that peat in here. There's also something slightly dirty or industrial about this, like machine oil, oily rags, that kind of thing. There's also tea notes, so like herbal tea, black tea, fruit tea, oak, scorched earth, not scorched earth, like not the policy, like burnt earth. Tasting notes are dumb. We also have something really weird here. I'm getting radish, like a spicy radish note. I'm not kidding. And now our finish. Okay, things get a little bit more traditional, conventional here. I'm getting caramels, butterscotch, cola, black tea. We also have that herbal element that's still kind of lingering. I just mentioned cola, but it's more like a bitter sarsaparilla type note, which is interesting. Overall, it's a medium to long finish. It's less weird, it's still weird. So this whiskey is really different, and I'll say this right off the bat, it's not a great whiskey. It's not going to blow your mind. It's not the best of the best, but what it is super unique. This whiskey has a shitload of character, and that character is not going to be for everyone. It's very much a take it or leave it kind of thing. I think there's going to be a lot of people out there who do appreciate this one. It is dirty, dare I say, a little bit funky. Oppositely, I think there's going to be a lot of people who just don't get on with this stuff. Like, these flavors are not going to land for everyone. And that's fine. I just use the term funky. And that's going to make this whiskey sound really interesting for a lot of you who are watching, I'm sure. But, hold on. Yes, this whiskey's funky, it's unconventional, it's dirty, but it doesn't have the finesse or the quality of character that we get with like Lejegs or Edward Dowers or Springbanks, a lot of the brands that we usually associate with funk. So a lot of my descriptors, my tasting notes, they make this whiskey sound really unique and special and great. It's not a great whiskey. It's good. And it's weird. And I wasn't that impressed when I first popped this bottle. I didn't find it to be that interesting. It's only when you start thinking about it and breaking it down that you find more interesting elements to it. Like, this has definitely got some unique tasting notes, like radish. What? So the profile's weird. It's an oddball whiskey. It's definitely got some character to it. It doesn't fascinate me or rope me in like other very characterful whiskeys do. It's got its own low-key charm to it though. Like, we do have some nice flavors in here. I have seen this whiskey criticized for being off balance. I don't necessarily think it's off balance. I think we've got some decent balance here. My biggest complaint would be the clarity of the flavors in this. I feel like a lot of the flavors here have been a little bit muddied by the casks. Like, the casks did impart a lot of flavors, but I feel like those flavors are kind of murky or washed together. And I actually compared the Loch Lomond 12 to this one here, our Craigellachie 13. And they are different whiskeys, but they do have some similarities to them. They both have this sort of dirty, non-traditional, somewhat funky, somewhat industrial vibe to them. So Loch Lomond here gets wrong a lot of what Craigellachie gets right. There's a clarity of flavors to this that just don't shine through in our Loch Lomond. So both are very interesting whiskeys, but this one's great and that one's just good. And I know it sounds like I'm coming down really hard on poor Loch Lomond here. I actually think it's a cool whiskey. Because despite being a super weird and pretty flawed whiskey, it's actually a pretty pleasant sipper. Like, as long as you can get along with that profile, and not everyone can. Good reachability here. It's a whiskey I don't mind coming back to. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a weird whiskey. It's hard to wrap my head around, but I do like it. Like, it's challenging. It's different. It's not great. It's not bad, but I do kind of respect how unconventional it is. Again, it's a pretty flawed whiskey. Score is going to be 84. I think a lot of people out there will not like this though, so you have been warned. It's a really weird whiskey. So we've got pretty good value on this one. My bottle is a 1 liter bottle, but it usually sells in 700 ml bottles, and it's very affordable stuff. It's cheaper than most entry-level 12-year-olds. Again, I do have to stress that this is an odd whiskey and that it's not going to be for everyone, but as long as you can get on board with these flavors, I'm sure you'll think it's worth the money. Alright, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, please consider becoming a patron. Otherwise, you can like, comment, and subscribe. I do want to hear from you. Have you tried our Loch Lomond 12 here? I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this one. Do you like it? Do you not? Tell me why. Also, down in the comments, you can let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.